Hello everyone, my name is TP Speed, otherwise known as TP Speedrunning, and this is an any percent legacy speedrun of The Cave. The first question you might have is, what does legacy mean? I will get to that in a bit, but before that, how about I let my friend introduce himself to you?
Voice startle you. For hundreds, nay thousands, nay tens of thousands of years, people have come to me in search of what they desire most. Few find what they are looking for. Even fewer ever leave. Welcome to The Cave. That's me, The Cave. Yes, I'm a talking cave. Don't laugh. It makes dating hell. Besides, I have a really interesting story to tell you this evening, so pay attention. It's a story of 7 people and a glimpse into a dark place in each of their hearts. But be careful before you judge. There is a dark place in your heart as well. Someday you will find yourself descending my depths in search of what you desire. And you might not like what you find either. But enough about you. This is about them.
Now that the introduction is over, we can start the run. You're probably wondering why the time didn't start on New Game. In accordance with the rules for the game on speedrun.com, timing for this run starts on first input, so we start the timer when we select our character. I guess an explanation for what exactly The Cave is in order. The Cave is a puzzle platformer game developed by Double Fine and published by Sega in 2013. Similar to games like Maniac Mansion, you start the game by picking 3 characters from a wide array of them. In this case, we take the Knight, the Time Traveler, and the Twins. Each character has their own special abilities that get used throughout the run, and some characters have a secret ability that isn't explicitly told, but we'll get to that in just a bit. Naturally, these characters are picked for their abilities to be particularly useful in several of the puzzles of the game. The Time Traveler can teleport a short distance and through certain objects, the Twins can make a duplicate of themselves that has their exact look and weight, and the Knight can be invincible at the cost of standing still. Funnily enough, the Knight's ability is the one we will use the most, but the teleport from the Time Traveler is the most exploitable. You might be wondering why I'm rapidly switching back and forth between the Twins and the Knight, rather than have them join the Time Traveler on the 100% stable and safe platform. We do this because while you're switching back and forth, besides the hilarity of being rude to the Cave and not letting him get his speech in, it allows us to move our characters at the same time and keep pace with each other. The downside of this is that they cannot jump together, and if they start to lose momentum on the edge of a cliff, they will run off, fall, and potentially die. To fix this, I simply just jump over the ledge, switch to the second character, jump again, and then resume the strat. Also, I just want to apologize if you hear any chittering or crunching in the background from time to time. My pet rats are next to my desk and like to ask for attention or chew on the cage, or sometimes they're eating food out of their bowl. Since I usually stream or record at night, and rats tend to be more nocturnal, this means they are always active when I am here. With the basic explanation out of the way, let's get into the first puzzle. Before we can get into the cave proper, the clerk at the gift shop asks us about filling in 3 items for him. Normally, you go and speak to him first, get the key to open the entrance, and then go about getting access to those items. But there's one small thing the clerk forgot. We can teleport. Using the Time Traveler's ability, we can go through some gates in the game and preemptively set up the solution to the puzzle and even get ourselves a snack for later. The problem, though, comes from one of the game's key gimmicks. You will most often need multiple characters to solve the puzzles. So, I eventually will have to switch to the Knight, ask for the key, open the gate, and reunite our trio to finish. So, at certain points when the Time Traveler doesn't have anything else to do, I switch back to the Knight and have him do what is needed and progress as normal. Now after hearing that lengthy explanation, you might be wondering, okay there, buckaroo, I get you need all 3 characters, but why aren't you using the gosh dang Twins yet? The cave has predetermined checkpoints that if one character crosses, all 3 will spawn behind and run on screen. We're going to use this a lot throughout the run just to make it easier for us so that we don't have to keep moving all 3 characters at once. To get to where the items are, we need to go down this hallway the time traveler is currently in, but a monster is blocking the path. After the most arbitrary and janky way ever to get a bucket, we stop the water from dripping onto the fuse box, take the fuse to the hot dog vending machine, grab our wiener, and get one more that we'll save for later. Then, at this point, we bring the knight into the cave, fail a very simple jump, and finally trap the monster and move on to find the 3 items. While we have a break in the tech being introduced, I'll briefly explain the story. In the cave, when you select your 3 characters, you are given the synopsis for why they seeked out the cave in the first place. The knight is on a quest to find a magical sword, which we don't. The twins just want to go outside their house and play for a bit, and they don't. And the time traveler is looking to correct a mistake that first happened a million years ago, which she does. Each character has their own unique puzzles that the game wants us to solve, but as you may have guessed, we skipped 2 of them. That's where the classification of legacy comes into play, but I'll save that for when the glitch we use is shown on screen. I'm sure you noticed by now that I seem to have been Thanos snapped several times already. The cave allows you to self-destruct a character and send them back to the last flagged checkpoint, in this case just before this cave-in. Most characters' climbing speed is very slow, so blipping ourselves into atoms for a second is slightly faster than running all the way back to where we need to go. You'll see this plenty of more times to cut down on backtracking. Now that we're past the cave-in, we can grab our 3 items. To optimize the time, we send the time traveler to the furthest item because this puts her closest to the lift that'll take us back to the gift shop. The order for the other 2 characters doesn't matter too much, but I prefer to send the knight to the closest treasure since he's the furthest behind. Once the twins pick up the last item, we send the time traveler back to the gift shop and say hi to some random hot dog that someone left on the floor. Hi, good to see you. When we get to the shop, the other characters spawn in, and while we wait for the dialogue to finish, we send the knight back for the snack that he forgot, and then advance with the twins when he picks it up. Now we're coming on what makes this a legacy run, so I'll briefly explain the glitch that's about to happen. Normally, the game wants you to have all 3 characters stand on a platform that opens a gate to the knight's puzzle. Once one character is standing on the platform, the puzzle and a particular checkpoint is loaded into the game. This is where the twins come into play. When they climb a rope, they are very separated. In actuality, their hitbox is in the center of both of them, just about where the sister grabs her brother's foot. If they jump off, the hitbox then moves upwards to catch up to the brother and lets us do some pretty wacky things, like clip into the ceiling. We climb up this rope until the brother's head hits the pipe, jump to the left, and run all the way across until we die. And when we do, the game searches for the nearest checkpoint. Because we have the knight on the weighted platform, it thinks, oh, the closest checkpoint is here at the end of the knight's puzzle, and spawns us at the exit. What makes this a legacy run is that this has been officially patched out of the PC version of this game, and we are currently running this on console. It's worth noting that I am running this on the PlayStation 3 system with the original HDD drive still inside. I bring this up because during the course of the run, you may see some noticeable lag spikes. To my understanding, this is because the system was touted for being able to play Blu-ray discs, and while that is true, it comes at the cost of some processing power. Because of this, there are moments in the run where the game will stutter and load for a moment before it comes back. Now the real question is why we bother to run back and get that hot dog that the knight still has. To which I say, stop asking questions and just be patient. We will get to that, I promise. But for now, while some plot happens and we set up for the next puzzle, let's take a little bit to talk about myself and give some shoutouts. So, hi, hello, how are you? In case it wasn't apparent, this particular style of video is based on a series of videos done by Tomato Anus, who, if you haven't watched or are ever curious about speedrunning in general, you should go check out. A favorite video of mine is commentating a speedrun of Doom Eternal, but if you want to see Tomato Anus himself do a run, I highly recommend either his Fallout 4 any% speedrun or the Fallout 3 Eat a Baby speedrun. To borrow a joke, you may hear the title of that second video and ask a very important question. Why? To talk about myself a bit, I got started speedrunning back in 2014 with a speedrun of Kingdom Hearts 1 any%. I've continued to run both it and its mainline sequel off and on for some years now, but The Cave is the second game I ever learned to run. My first run of this game was back in 2016, and my PB, up until this recording, was a 43:13. This run was recorded in preparation to submit for a marathon I wanted to run in, and I figured after not playing The Cave in several years, I would dust it off, practice a bit, and then go for a PB. This is the first run I did after practicing for a week straight. Also, it might be hard to see, but in the bottom right corner, you may see my pronouns are they, them. Yes, I am in fact non-binary, and I have been out as such since 2019. I also picked this run to be my first commentated video in this style for two reasons. One, it's reasonably short. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 are runs that I average around 2.5 and 3.5 hours respectively. I don't think watching a commentated video of that length in this style would be very fun, and scripting them would be a nightmare. Though, if you would like to see a commentated run for both of them, I will have them linked below. It will be a much more loose style of commentary, which is how I tend to do things. There will also be a link for The Cave with no commentary if that piques your interests. The second reason is because this is a relatively easy run to learn. I know I said I've ran this game in the past, and that this was after some practice, but I promise this game is a very quick and easy run to learn. I think it makes for a great first speedrun, as a lot of it just requires in-game knowledge of puzzles, item management, and 3 glitches and exploits we use throughout the run. If you have ever wanted to give speedrunning a shot, I think this is a good game to start with. Now let's quickly get back into the lore of the game. When we skipped the knight's puzzle, we caused a cave-in that made the miner's minecarts go missing. He then throws 3 items at us: a shovel, a bucket, and a can of corn. Then he throws dynamite at us and, like the absolute savage he is, destroys the can of corn. We took the bucket and filled it with water, then stole 3 sticks of his dynamite to set up at specific spots to use later. The twins, in their first moment of standard gameplay, take the shovel and bring back the miner's empty mine car.
Here it is, my special empty mine car. A miner can't have enough empty mine cars.
Then, we send them back up the mine to open another tunnel, and with the help of the time traveler and some sick parkour from these kids, we return the cart of gold.
Gold! I thought you was gone for good. Time to get down to some serious hoarding. Now see here, I still needs me my last minecart, dagnabbit.
Then, once again, using the twins and the knight to do a weight-based puzzle, we return a minecart full of meat to the miner.
hunger down here. I'm gonna roast me up some canaries.
Finally, we remember to get our hot dog because we are very hungry, and because we need a reward for our service, we steal the miner's bucket and jump for joy on the...
Oh, hell.
Oh.
Come back, go!
Oh
The
dear.
miner wasn't such a bad guy. He was down here a long time, and that'll take its toll. Obtaining the thing you desire most isn't always as hard as it's made out to be, but it will.
After that life-threatening incident, we're now ready for our next puzzle. This time, it's the twins. Though, if you remember what I said before, we're skipping this puzzle.
I feel a caution is in order.
First, we send the twins down below to grab a femur from a pile of bones. We will use this to help with the final puzzle of the game, but now for the next trick of the run. You may have heard of a term in game design known as coyote time. This is used to reference a period of time when you are clearly standing off of a platform, but still have just enough time to execute a jump in-game, saving yourself. We teleport through the gate that leads to the twins' house, and after the animation finishes, have just about 1 to 2 frames where the time traveler can jump in midair over this pit. Next is a bug that, if I'm honest, I don't fully understand how it works. Using the time traveler, we can teleport behind the twins' father, here at the exit of the house, and wouldn't you know it, we can teleport through it. Normally, he tells us off and the game pushes us away from him, but if we teleport behind him, the game instead pushes us towards the exit door. My best guess as to why this happens is that, for whatever reason, the game was programmed to push us away from the father instead of into the house. Either way, we're now 3 puzzles down and only have 3 more to go. We're now in the final puzzle for the player characters, the time traveler. Unfortunately, there's no real skips here, just minor optimizations like death warps and making use of the bucket we stole from the miner. First though, we have some setup to do with the time traveler to make it easier for the twins and the knight to get around. The gimmick of this puzzle is, of course, going through time to change the past so that we can move forward in the present and future. This was one of my favorite puzzles in my casual playthrough and in the speedrun too. It encapsulates the core strategies we use in the run: item management, using checkpoints to our advantage, and working around the platforming system of the game. In terms of story, the time traveler got scrubbed out of a position that she wanted at her job by some dude who likes to rub our face in it. So, naturally, we decide to calmly go back in time and talk with his past relatives to make sure he gets raised better. First, we need to grab the scent of a dinosaur. We go to the bottom of the museum, and by grabbing the platform and dropping down, we're just low enough that falling from this height won't kill us. We push a button, get farted on by this standee of a dinosaur, then self-destruct to go back to the checkpoint. Next, we go to the past after opening the door to the museum and climb up to cover up dripping sediment to let the twins and the knight travel into the future.
Me and the other greatest employees of all time are all grabbing... Guess who got the greatest employee of all time award?
We send the knight down to the dinosaur standee and leave the twins standing by the smurg. With them set up, we switch back to the time traveler, steal Thog's nearly perfect wheel, and lure the dinosaur underneath it. Then we very gently bonk it on the head to take a nap.
Critic not understand hog work.
And switch back to the night to grab this now conveniently placed oil into our bucket of water. Now all that's left to do is steal this wheel from the museum and take it back to the past. There isn't really anything we can do to speed this up, so all we do is just push this wheel and watch as the knight gives the coldest stare to the greatest employee of all time.
What is that thing? It's not an exhibit, is it? Nah, can't be. Greatest employee of all time knows every inch of every exhibit we've got. Well, have fun with that, whatever it is.
I want to take this moment of downtime to thank you for watching this. I haven't really made content like this before and only really ever focused on streaming. If you're watching this and you enjoy it or have a way for me to improve, let me know in the comments. If I can be honest, I don't care very much about growing this channel. I just enjoy sharing content for games that I like to play or that are overlooked for bigger ones. Everybody knows about stuff like Mario 64, but not enough people know about smaller communities like this. Not to take away from those bigger runs though, they're great. I just feel that other games could use the attention. With that out of the way, we now give Thog his wheel and can have a nice chat with him to talk about his future. Wait, what are you doing? Okay, seriously, stop. That could really hurt someone. No, wait! Oh. Oh dear. Well, with that happy little accident out of the way, we switch to the twins and take the Smurg, I guess, and go back to the present and open the door with the puzzle now solved. I wonder if Karma's gonna get back at us for this. Now we have the time traveler take the Smurg, the twins take their femur again, and the knight takes the hot dog. And I have great news. We finally get to talk about why we took that slab of processed meat almost 20 minutes ago all the way here. There is a puzzle coming up where we need to grab a hot dog to distract another monster. Normally, there's a lot of running around and moving fuses to activate another vending machine to get it, but if we just grab one from the beginning, we can skip all of that. Now we just run through this hallway to that puzzle and closer to the end of the game. We reach the zoo and send the time traveler to get us started on... Oh. Well, I guess karma does exist.
This place is a nightmare. I hate zoos. No, I never like zoos. Never.
With the time traveler dead, we switch to the knight and have him run down to lure the monster out with the promise of a succulent link of meat, and do what the hunter couldn't and trap it under this crumbling bridge. Then we follow after it and see that the time traveler is somehow still alive after all of that. After a very long fall and some noticeable PS3 lag spikes, we find a boat, push it into the nearby water, and move on to the final puzzle of the game.
Hey, anyone know any sea shanties? 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer. Oh, that's more a bar song than a sea shanty. Ooh, I've got one. 99 bottles of rum on the wall, 99 bottles of rum.
Whoopee! I'm rescued.
Rescued?
Shut up. After years on this blasted island, I can finally leave.
Finally leave.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up. I'm going to go collect my stuff and get my beloved dog Spanky so we can skedaddle.
Beloved dog.
Shut up.
Well, from stuck in
The point of this puzzle is to push our boat across the island. We primarily use the knight to solve it, but still make sure to optimize the positions of our other characters so that they can make it easier. First, we have the time traveler push the boat to this ladder so that the twins and knight can jump to a higher spot on it. The twins, who still have the femur, pull on this pirate flag. And here I start to stumble a bit in the run. Since this was my first time seriously running the game after several years of not even touching it, I forgot important bits of information like what segments of pipes I need to grab and where they are. If I didn't struggle with this, I would have probably finished with closer to a 36-minute time, just 3 minutes off of the world record for this category. But to bring us back to what is needed in the puzzle, 3 segments of pipes are missing that need to be replaced. When we get them set up, we can use water to adjust water levels and create steam to advance the boat's position further into the island. We need 3 flags to be pulled in order to get access to explosives so that we can drain a portion of the water to open a gate and send the boat into the 3rd position.
Polly wants a bratwurst.
We need 3 flags to be pulled in order to get access to explosives so that we can drain a portion of the water to open a gate and send the boat into the 3rd position. Since the knight is down below, we have him pull the 3rd flag and pull a powder keg towards some lava. Then, if we immediately push it back as soon as we see that the fuse is lit, we can just barely reach the hitbox of these rocks to drain the water and open the gate. Once I found the missing piece of pipe, we get it placed and turn the nozzle to get this hot air balloon up and send the boat to the other side of the island. And then the hermit rudely decides to just take one of our spots. There isn't enough space on the boat for all of us to fit, so we need to get rid of the hermit. Luckily, he did forget something important: his dog. We grab this box of crackers and send the twins and time traveler back to where we saw the hermit playing chess.
But he's still trouble. Trouble with a capital H, which stands for hermit. Ha, there, much better.
We leave the twins there, then send the time traveler to pick up the parrot. You may have already figured out where this is going.
King takes F7.
We use the femur on the dog to get it to bark with the parrot nearby so that it starts to mimic that bark. Now we have to get back to the other side of the island without swimming, falling too far, or dying. If any of those happen, we have to go back and pick the parrot up again. Thankfully, we get across and the parrot barks, reminding that the hermit needs to take his dog. We jump into the boat and, with the final puzzle solved, move on to the last segment of the run.
He gets his own seat, so someone will need to swim.
I'm no lawyer, but maritime law clearly allows for the abandonment of annoying hermits. And really, the stranding of a lone hermit pales in comparison to what we've seen from these three so far. I do wonder if any lessons have been learned this evening. Maybe by you and me, but I fear not by them. Well, we shall see soon enough.
Once again, we're back at the gift shop, and the clerk asks us to find 3 items to exchange for the items we want most. He gives us another key, and we navigate down the same path where the items are. The only difference is that all of the previous puzzles have been packed up or remain solved from when we last did them. We do need to have someone open the gate properly, but we use the time traveler to once again get a head start so that we don't have to wait for the door to be opened for us to move.
And open the employee's back entrance. I'm sure you'll find some treasures worthy of the cave's gift shop.
Next, we steal 3 items from the only 3 puzzles that we solved: a hunting trophy, a hunk of gold, and the dog. Once one character reaches the gift shop, all three spawn outside the entrance.
You've outdone yourself on this one. Taking the thing someone else desires most was a stroke of genius.
The game forces us to do this one character at a time, so we exchange the items to get the treasures that we want, climb up this ladder, and get the bad ending for all three characters. Timing ends when we exit the final image, bringing us to a total time of 39 minutes and 36 seconds. To answer some quick questions, yes, we get the bad ending. The only difference between the good ending and the bad ending is we have to choose to return our item 3 times to the clerk, and if we do that, it is ever so slightly slower, but just barely. Also, if you're curious about what the bad endings are, basically everybody dies. The twins tried to poison their parents, and end up getting served the poison that they tried to give them, and their entire family dies. The knight is then tasked to kill a dragon, and instead gets an entire kingdom burned down. The time traveler goes back in time and kills the greatest employee of all time's ancestor, and ends up creating a totalitarian government that gets her killed. It's not a good time. But with the run out of the way, I do want to give just some general shoutouts once again to the likes of Tomato Anus, as well as the rest of the very small community that the cave has. It was by finding their runs that I was able to figure out how to do this run when I first learned it several years ago, and what revitalized me into wanting to run it again. If you would like to see a run that is much more readily available and easier to do, I will have a link down below to Squeamster's world record of the current patch version of the cave. If you would like to watch this run without commentary, there will be a link provided below, as well as a link to my Twitch stream. I'm going to be focusing primarily on running different kinds of games that I haven't really ran before. Stuff like the Resident Evil Remake trilogy has been on my radar for a while. With that out of the way, I'm TP Speedrunning, also known as TP Speed. Thank you for watching.
On the choices to come. Someday, you yourself shall explore my mysterious depths. And when we meet again on that journey, I am confident you will make the right decisions. Because I am the cave.